Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mark Smith. I'm Group Managing Director of People2People in Australia and Frog Recruitment in New Zealand. So once again, it is Friday afternoon at 12:30, which means that we're here live on Facebook, LinkedIn and YouTube with hashtag P2P Live, which is our employment market update. Now, we're all here in lockdown in Sydney. I'm broadcasting from the P2P Sydney office just on the corner of George and Jamison Streets here. The weather is a little bit cold. It sort of fits the mood that we're in terms of lockdown right now. And I know that I'm living vicariously through all of this sport that's going on overseas at the moment. And it feels like I always mention some sporting event at the beginning of these broadcasts. But how can you not mention Ash Barty's win at Wimbledon this week? So congratulations, Ipswich girl. I know personally I'm very proud of her result there, and I love this next picture I'm going to show you because I used to play tennis as a young boy. I became a very terrible adult tennis player, but look at Ash Barty here as a little girl. That is just a magic picture, and I think it brings back a lot of memories for me. But congratulations, and Ash, we are living vicariously through you whilst we are in lockdown here in Sydney, and Melbourne joining the lockdown this week as well. So what are we going to do today? Well, we're going to cover off our usual numbers section. This week saw some remarkable unemployment numbers come through, so we'll delve into the detail from the ABS there. Then we'll be crossing to James Dalton, who's got an opportunity in payroll that he'd like to talk to us about. Then we'll be moving down to Melbourne, and we'll be having a chat to Amy Burton about a couple of roles in legal. So Amy will be sharing those with us. We have our regular Twitter poll, so we'll see what the results were last week. And we do have a couple of little items that we'll share with you specifically around the lockdown. So stay tuned for that as well. But let's first get into our regular numbers section. So today we're going to talk through the unemployment numbers. So you can see on the screen here, these were released just yesterday from the ABS, and they are remarkable numbers, really. So the unemployment rate decreased to 4.9%. The participation rate remained at 66.2%. So that sort of says that with unemployment coming down, that employment has increased, and indeed it's up to 13,154,200. The underemployment rate, though, increased to 7.9%, and we'll have a closer look at that because the monthly hours worked decreased by 33 million hours as well. So it is an interesting month in that unemployment is down, but we're not working as many hours, and I think that's indicative of the lockdowns. Let's have a look at this graphically. If you just want to quickly go to the next slide there for us, Jacob, and here it is here. So this is the seasonally adjusted unemployment rate, and you can see that it's decreased by 0.2 percentage points to 4.9%. So it's 2.4 points lower than June in 2020, and 0.4 points lower than March 2020. So unemployment is now better than March 2020, just prior to the pandemic. So that rebound is something that, having been in the recruitment industry 25 years and seen 3 employment cycles, is an amazing result. So it's something that none of us expected. So a couple of other points on the unemployment, though. The youth unemployment rate also decreased to 10.2%, which I think was interesting and possibly related to the fact that we do not have any immigration at the moment. Let's go to the next slide, which is the participation rate. This one was interesting because female participation actually declined by 0.1%, and male participation increased by 0.1%. Maybe it's a statistical aberration, but overall we remained exactly the same. Let's move to the next slide then, which is underemployment. And it's this big tick at the bottom that you can see. So the different colours there represent men, women, and the overall population. And it's that little tick at the end that is basically demonstrative of the lockdowns. And it'll be, I think, when we see these numbers come out for July, that we will see that tick up a bit. We will see underemployment rise, but we may not see unemployment rise because there is definitely a talent shortage, and I think employers are going to be realistic in that they will want to keep their talent on board. They may not work the same number of hours, but they will want to keep them connected to the business. So I think that will be really interesting to watch over the next couple of months. The thing about this year versus last year with the lockdown is that we know that it's going to end. We've been here before. So in terms of employers, they go, right, well, we know that this is going to bounce back, and it's going to bounce back pretty quickly. It may be a couple of months, but we want to have the talent on board ready to do that. Okay, let's then move on. And whilst I bring James Dalton from our accounting team online, let's watch a quick video from Jamie Taylor, actually, from our supply chain team in Queensland, who's got an opportunity that he'd like to talk about.
Hi, I'm Jamie from the supply chain management team at P2P. I'm currently working with a market-leading global manufacturing business based in Sydney who have a great opportunity available to join them and focus on driving the implementation of a new transport management system. By building strong relationships with both internal and external stakeholders, you'll identify and scope the aspects of the system which need to be changed or improved to suit the operational needs of the business. The role would suit somebody who is highly analytical, system savvy, and with a real passion for continuous improvement. If this sounds like you, please get in touch on the number below. Thanks for watching.
G'day, James.
How you doing?
How's it? I'm okay. You know, it's lockdown. It's what can we do, really? How are you coping?
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. Look, it was a tough start to the week, but that wasn't lockdown related. That was obviously the finals. I don't know why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, that's right. It's still very fresh.
It's felt like it's been a long week off the back of that 4 a.m. start.
Well, I mean, I loved your video last week because you were one of the guys that actually put together that football's coming home.
Yeah, there were some pretty wild predictions on there. I think Mark Green went with a 5-2 to England. I went for England on penalties, so it was pretty close, but it's always England's Achilles heel, so I was probably a bit too optimistic.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what about let's move on from it. I mean, I think
I'm happy to. Yeah.
What about this opportunity that you've got? So you're working on a payroll job, yeah?
Yes, it's a payroll specialist role. So it's a kind of split between managing a HRIS system for the business and then also managing a relationship with their outsourced payroll provider, which is ADP. So the business is looking for someone who's used SAP HRIS and also had worked with ADP as an outsourced provider to hit the ground running with this role. So with the HRIS piece, they'll be providing reporting for salary reviews, employee contracts, and then also getting involved in system upgrades. And then on the payroll side of things, the employees in total is about 350 employees. So this person will be working side by side with the outsourced payroll provider.
Okay, it's a sexy company too. I know we can't say the name of the company, but it's a pretty cool place to work, isn't that right?
Yeah, it's a global FMCG organisation. It'll be a business that everyone would recognise, and there's a lot of people out there I know who would like to join this organisation just due to their culture, and also they're a business that offer career development opportunities, and this role could offer different opportunities within the HR field in the next sort of 2 to 3 years. So it's a business, if you've got that experience, it's somewhere I'd highly recommend, at least talking to me to get you in front of this business.
How about remote working? Any opportunities there?
Yeah, look, after lockdown, most of the staff will work 3 days in the office and 2 at home. I don't think I touched on remuneration either. So they were able to offer 95 to 100,000 plus soup, and there's also a 10% bonus on offer for this position.
Great. All right. Sounds like a fantastic opportunity. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Yeah, so we should have this role advertised on our website, Mark, so it'd be best to click through the links there. But if not, on the details below.
I can definitely see that. And I can see that we've already had somebody say we're a masochist. I should have said, when talking about the Euro 2020, I should have mentioned before that actually we do see your comments live. So on Facebook, LinkedIn and YouTube, we can see them. So if you do have any questions specifically for James, of course you can contact him on the numbers on the screen. You can click on the links in the comments there to apply for the role. But if you have a question right now, then just pop it in the comments and we'll see it. Rightio, thanks James. Thanks very much.
Thanks,
Okay, let's now head down south. We'll have a quick chat to Amy Burton from the legal team in Melbourne. G'day, Amy. How's things?
Yeah, good, thank you. Being a fellow Brit, I feel like we're all probably morning this week, but I did not wake up at 4 a.m. So I didn't
you didn't watch it?
No, I woke up in time for penalties where it was all kicking off, and I was like, "What's going on?"
I must admit, I'm a bit of a rugby guy, so I was much more interested in the rugby than Australia-France than Euro 2020. But I did listen as I walked into the office. I did listen to the penalties, and it was pretty depressing. I wasn't keen to talk to all of the Poms in the office, believe me. But hey, let's have a quick chat about the opportunity, because you've got a couple of opportunities to talk to us about today. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So as some people might know, the core of work for us is legal support, but we do sometimes get some left of centre work, which is awesome. So first I have a office operations manager position for a global law firm. It's come up due to an internal promotion, which is awesome for the person that's been in the role, but they're now keen to get their replacement so that they can take on their promotion. It's supervising up to 20 support staff, so it's really key to have had that proven experience handling, at least a team of support members. Having experience in legal is great. It's not mandatory. If you've got experience in professional services, that's all good. It's going to be a big role. It's lots of variety. It's looking after the floor management, looking at procurement. They're a firm that opened up in Melbourne around 5 years ago, and they're already 100 strong. They've just acquired another floor within the building and possibly looking at relocating as well. So if you do have any experience with a relocation or office move, that's going to be really beneficial as well.
Great. And what about the whole remote working thing for these roles as well?
For the office operations manager position, they are going to want someone that's kind of hands-on in the office. So the expectation will be to be in the office more so than being at home. I have another position, which is an intellectual property manager. That's within a national law firm that have always been proud providers of a genuine flexible working arrangement. So pretty much across their whole firm, they're doing 50-50. So 50% working remotely, 50% working from home. And it's going to be particularly attractive to anyone that is a paralegal or a senior paralegal with a real passion for intellectual property and trademarks.
Right. Okay. And any other benefits for that one? No, sorry.
You go.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say any other benefits?
They have lots of benefits. So being a national law firm based in beautiful offices in Melbourne CBD, they also offer excellent career progression paths for all of their support staff. So this IP manager role, for example, it will be client facing. It's handling an extensive IP portfolio of over 2,000 trademarks across the world. So these kind of positions don't come up all that often. So yeah, a great firm to be part of for lots of different reasons.
Okay, cool. Excellent. All right. So how lockdown? So it's just started. I mean, so obviously it's not good. But we actually had, and I know that you were involved last year. We put together a sort of lockdown playlist for people to watch home or you're working from home, that you could actually pop on this playlist. And I think, Jacob, if you wanted to pop that up in the comments there. But have you got any, so I know that you love going to a gig, Amy. Is there anybody that you would like to, anybody you would love to promote today? If somebody's working from home and they thought, oh, I want to put some new tunes on, who do you reckon? Sort of putting you on a little bit, I'm sorry, but yeah.
Yeah. For anyone that knows me half well, I'm definitely a bit of an old heart when it comes to music. So I will always promote the likes of David Bowie and Fleetwood Mac. I just think just absolute golden. So I think that put those on, just float around your living room or kitchen. And then as soon as 5:30 rocks around, I think everyone's going to be having a gin and tonic in their hand.
I'm absolutely 100% sure that's going to happen. I know that there are a few tunes from my era in that playlist, though. Everyone should check that out. Rightio. Well, thanks, Amy. Thanks for joining us again. It's great to have you on P2P Live. Hopefully we'll see you again. And if you've got any questions about those roles you'd like to apply, the links are in the comments there. And do we have your contact details too? There we go, up on the screen.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, Amy. See you next time. Okay. So the only other thing I would like to mention about the lockdown is that we have a cookbook. Now, we put this together last year. So People to People's Distraction Cookbook, which a whole bunch of the consultants put the recipes together. So if you'd like a copy of that cookbook, you can download it. No strings attached. It's free. Just go for it. You don't have to put any details in or anything. The link is right there in the comments. A person we were joking about before we came online, actually, there are ginger and lime kisses, which probably are appropriate during a lockdown. So check those ones out specifically. Okay, what about the Twitter poll from last week? Let's see what the results were. So this was specifically around the comments that, or the blog post that Kath Kennedy had written about what is important and whether it's not just all about the money when you're changing jobs. And I thought that these results were quite remarkable. I mean, it's not profoundly different, but it does demonstrate that money is not the only thing. So generous remuneration, 30.7%, was important when changing jobs. So this is the Twitterverse. 350 people voted on this. So it may not be totally representative. But from my 25 years experience, I would suggest that it is, that money is not always the most important thing. Flexibility, second, a third, 33.3%. And company culture was always number one. 35.9% was the leading factor for when people are changing jobs. So if you wanted to check out that blog post again, it's some really interesting reading from Kath. Jacob will pop the link up there in the comments so you can see that one there as well. This week's Twitter poll, I thought we'd run with, well, we've got a cookbook. I've certainly put on a few COVID kilos over the things. Are you overeating when you're in lockdown? I know my answer. I know my answer. So I'll be jumping onto Twitter, so at People to People, and you can vote there for next week's Twitter poll. So that brings us to the end of the broadcast today. There was one last item which I know that has flashed up on the bottom of the screen here, and we actually have a leadership series, a webinar that is coming up in about 27 days' time. It's next month. It's how to overcome resistance to change. It's a fabulous webinar. The details, once again, we will pop in, there they go, into the comments there. Sign up for that one. It's a time of great change with the pandemic and with the lockdowns just as one part of that change. But even the fact that we're here live on these platforms is indicative of a lot of change in our working lives at the moment. So register for that one. Rightio, thank you very much for joining us again. We're before time, so a solid 20 minutes today. So we'll see you next week, 12:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. We'll catch you then.